Some 10-year-old girl is driving a steam locomotive while the real driver and fireman are fixing the headlight. Wow, this guy must have a really strong beard. So the headlight gets fixed, but then they see something in the distance. The boy applies the brakes and the train comes to a screeching halt.
Caribou!
And here comes some more goofs. When the fireman starts screaming because his beard's being pulled by the boy, the sound coming from the caribou is actually from an elk. So somehow the screaming fireman manages to get the caribou off the tracks.
Problem solved. All ahead, slow!
The instruction given by the conductor applies to ships with multiple engines.
All ahead, slow!
But it doesn't apply to a train pulled by one single locomotive. So just when you think everything's back to normal, no, something else has to go wrong. The locomotive's throttle is broken and the driver can't get it to work.
Tell the engineer to slow.
Wait a minute, why are you guys still in the front of the train? Did you guys just plan to stay there the whole way? Something is seriously wrong with this conductor. Now this next goof is gonna forever change the way you watch the Polar Express. When the cotter pin comes loose, we can see it bouncing around the cab. And look what's in the background, a working flux capacitor. Now for those of you who don't know, the flux capacitor is what makes time travel possible. It was invented by Dr. Emmett Brown in the movie Back to the Future.
This is what makes time travel possible.
So the question is, why is there one on the Polar Express? Could this mean the Polar Express is a time machine? So the driver and fireman lose the pin, and now the train is going way too fast. But here comes the next goof. If you look at this sign, you'll notice that it says 179-degree grade. But if this is a vertical drop, it should say something like 89 degrees.
Is everything all right? What should we do?
Oh, like that rope belt is gonna actually protect you guys. Good thinking, Mr. Conductor.
Hold on. Tightly!
So now the Polar Express has turned into a roller coaster ride. But when they finally make it to the bottom, they discover the ice is frozen over the tracks. Oh, so a steam locomotive that weighs over 800,000 pounds doesn't crack the ice. But yet a tiny cotter pin causes all of this. Fortunately, the fireman's hairpin fits into the throttle, allowing the Polar Express to come to a stop. But as soon as it stops moving, the ice starts to crack.
Get us the blazes out of here!
Somehow, the driver backs up the train and gets it to move in the opposite direction.
Right!
And incredibly, they're able to make it back onto the track. You know, this is completely unrelated, but have you ever noticed that the Polar Express theme music sounds very similar to the music in Elf? Both these movies came out around the same time, Elf in 2003 and the Polar Express in 2004. Kind of interesting they sound so similar. So the Polar Express continues heading to the North Pole, and the girl finally gets her ticket punched. And here comes one of the worst goofs in the whole movie. As the Polar Express winds around the mountain, take a closer look at the train. The cars are literally curling around the mountain, and it gets even worse when they get towards the top. Just look at how much those cars are bending, and look how bad the locomotive looks on this final curve. It looks more like a slithering snake than a train. So finally, the conductor, boy, and girl head back to their passenger car. They start heading towards the back of the train, but something's not quite right about this scene. As you can see, there is not a single light on in this car. But yet, in the previous scene, we could see that it was well lit.
You are just like me, my friend. A Scrooge!
I'm just now noticing how creepy these marionettes are. I mean, what is this, a monkey? And is that the clown from It? I can totally understand why these toys were abandoned.
Ebony! Scrooge! North Pole! Santa Claus!
Seriously, kid, you might want to watch out for that clown. I think he's gonna bite you at any moment. So it turns out this is only the hobo scaring the boy.
You're a doubter! A doubter, you don't believe!
So the boy rushes out of the car to get into the next car. And then this happens.
Hey, you missed it. We rode down some really sharp hills, and then we were on what looked like a frozen lake.
The boy has somehow transported to the second to last passenger car, which means he went from here to here. The only explanation would be some of the passenger cars just randomly disappeared. So the boy meets up with the girl and Billy, and they sing a Christmas song together.
When Christmas comes to town.
The northern lights then appear in the sky, and the conductor tells them they've reached the North Pole.
There is the North Pole.
So as the Polar Express enters the North Pole, we hear another song. Now look how many passenger cars there are.
There should be elves. Where are the elves?
I just want to point out this statue of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We'll talk about it a little later. The conductor tells the kids that one of them will be chosen to receive the first gift of Christmas.
He will choose one of you.
Look! Elves!
Okay, here comes a goof I bet none of you have ever seen before. As we zoom out of the passenger car to see the elves marching, there's an elf that isn't moving his legs or arms, but yet he's still moving with the other elves. It's like he's Gumby or something. So everyone gets off the train, and the conductor has them line up.
Hey, what gives? It was 5 minutes till midnight 4 minutes ago.
Exactly.
Don't you ever question how this train runs again.
Columns of 2.
And here comes another goof. Notice how there's no other children in the background. The scene cuts to Billy, and then when it goes back, there's children in the background. And you can also see more of the building in the background. So the girl and boy don't feel right leaving Billy behind. They try to convince him to get off the train, but he refuses.
Christmas just doesn't work out for me.
So because Billy wouldn't just get off the train like every other normal kid, they find themselves stuck on a runaway car.
It's gonna be okay. Baby, no!
Alright, roller coaster part 2. So the boy is trying to find the brake.
Take a break, kid! How about a nice good hot cup of joe?
It was at that moment the hobo knew he messed up. So the boy manages to apply the brakes. And here comes the next goof. When the car strikes the buffer, the kids are flung backwards. But because of inertia, the kids should have been flung forward. So now the kids are stuck on a turntable and they don't know where to go. That is until the hero girl hears a sleigh bell.
It's coming from that tunnel.
So now they have to walk across this sketchy set of tracks. I don't care how much money you'd pay me. I would never do something like this. Miraculously, they make it past the tracks. But now they have to find their way back to the ceremony.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's my town.
So now we can officially say the boy is from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Once the elves are finished with their work, they head to the ceremony. The kids decide to follow them. But when they get out, they discover they're in the wrapping room. So they follow the arrows to see where it leads.
It's going to my town. There's someone named Billy. My name is Billy.
My name is Jeff.
It's going to 11344 Edbrook Avenue. That's my address.
So Billy decides to go chase after his present. So the girl and boy have to go chase him. So when they make it to the bottom of the slide, they find themselves in Santa's bag. But it isn't long until they're in trouble again. And here's another mistake. In this scene, we can see that the bag is going to close over top of their heads. But in the next scene, the kids are at the very top of the bag. So the bag of presents is being delivered to the ceremony, and the kids think they're finally going to make it. But then they find out the know-it-all boy was following them.
What are you doing here? Same as you. I'm checking on my Christmas presents.
So when the elves try to lower the blimp, they lower it too much, and it knocks the Christmas star off the tree. And here's another mistake. When the elves bungee jump to save the star, they fall faster than the star. This is impossible because everything falls at the same rate of speed. Incredibly, the elves save the star.
All right, you stowaways. Party's over.
The elves help the kids get out of the bag, and then the ceremony begins. When the elves bring out the sleigh bells, they ring them for everyone to hear. But the boy can't hear the bells.
Aren't those bells the most beautiful sound?
Then came the moment everyone was waiting for. Santa Claus's arrival. Then, one of the sleigh bells comes loose and lands right in front of the boy.
I believe.
Finally, the boy hears the bell, and Santa Claus approaches him.
Let's have this young fellow right here.
The boy is chosen to receive the first gift of Christmas.
What would you like for Christmas?
Now, if you listen very closely, you can actually hear the boy saying, "I'd like the one bell off the reindeer." I'll turn it up extra loud so you can hear it.